Curtis & Son Funeral Home, Sylacauga, Childersburg presents a look at obituaries here on Daybreak Live. Visitation for Mr. James Grady Robertson, Jr., age 70 of Alexander City. That visitation will be tonight, 5 and 8 at Curtis & Son North Chapel. The funeral service will be held on Thursday at 2, also at Curtis & Son North. The Reverend Vince Lee will officiate. Online condolences at curtisondsonfh.com. Mr. Robertson of Alexander City died November 2nd at Goodwater Healthcare Center. Curtis & Son Funeral Home, North Chapel, directing that service. Graveside service today for Mr. James Earl Ivy. That will be at Oak Hill Cemetery in Prattville, Alabama at 2 o'clock. Curtis & Son Funeral Home, North Chapel, directing. Mr. Ernest Marshall Perry died November 2nd. And graveside service will be held at Grimes Chapel Church today in the cemetery there at 11 a.m. Online condolences at curtisondsonfh.com. Curtis & Son Funeral Home, North Chapel, directing that service. Mr. Donald Stacy, age 86, died Tuesday. Radley Smith Funeral Home, Sylacauga, with the arrangements. Funeral service for Mr. Wayne Harris, age 80 of Alexander City, will be today at noon from the Chapel of Radley Funeral Home. Reverend Wayne Cowhick officiating. Burial in the Hillview Memorial Park. The family received friends last night. Mr. Harris died November 4th at his residence. He was a member of the Alexander City Independent Methodist Church. The family will accept flowers or memorial contribution can be made to the Alexander City Independent Methodist Church Outreach Ministry, 1020 11th Avenue North in Alexander City, 35010. Memorial messages can be sent to the family at radleyfuneralhome.com. Radley Funeral Home directing. Mr. Bobby Allen Atkinson Sr., age 56, died at his residence on Monday. The family will receive friends on Saturday from 3 until 4 at Talladega Funeral Home. Memorial service in the chapel at 4. Talladega Funeral Home directing that service. Dr. Charles Cannon, age 73, died October 31st. Sims Funeral Service, Talladega, will announce the arrangements. Mr. Paul Clay, age 62, died November 3rd. Terry's Metropolitan Mortuary announcing. Mabel C. Garrett, age 88, died Sunday. Sims Funeral Service will announce the arrangements. Mr. Kenneth Marvin Houston, age 82 of Talladega, died Monday. The family receiving friends Thursday from 5 till 8 at Talladega Funeral Home. The service will be on Friday at 2 p.m. at Hephzibah Baptist Church. The Reverend Justin Milliken will officiate. In lieu of flowers, donation can be made to the Hephzibah Baptist Church General Fund. Talladega Funeral Home directing. Miss Floyd Matthews, age 80, died November 4th. Community Funeral Home will announce the arrangements. Mr. Willie Fred Simmons, age 75, died November 3rd. Terry's Metropolitan Mortuary will announce the arrangements. Jimmy Ernest Wilcox. Funeral service for Mr. Wilcox will be on... that'll be today at 1 p.m. from Talladega Bible Methodist Church with interment in the Pine Hill Memorial Park. Visitation beginning at noon until 1 p.m. at the church as well. The Reverend Bob Blankenship, along with Reverend William Snyder and Reverend Mike Avery, will officiate the service. Mr. Wilcox was a graduate of Munford High School back in 1954. He was very much business-oriented, longtime member of the Gideons International, and online condolences at earthstreetfuneralhome.com. Earthstreet Funeral Home in Talladega directing the funeral service for Mr. Jimmy Ernest Wilcox. Funeral service for Mr. Elwin Hoot Gibson, age 80, will be held today at 2 p.m. at Mount Pisgah Baptist Church with Brother Andy Kinmer and Brother Scott Jordan officiating. Burial in the Bethany Community Cemetery. Mr. Gibson died November 4th at Clay County Hospital. He attended Bethel South Baptist Church and served in the U.S. Army. He was also a part of the Mountain Volunteer Fire Department for nearly 45 years. The family, the body will lie in state at the church today at Mount Pisgah, beginning at 1 p.m. until service time. Benefield Funeral Home in Lineville in charge of the arrangements. Funeral service for Jimmy T. Hill, age 79 of Sylacauga, will be today at 11 o'clock from the chapel of Radley Smith Funeral Home. Brother Donnie Blackman officiating. Burial in the Talladega Springs Cemetery. Mr. Hill died November 3rd at Grandview Medical Center. Visitation prior to the service, 9 until 11 at the funeral home this morning. Memorial messages can be sent to the family at radneysmith.com, Radney Smith Funeral Home directing. And funeral service for Miss Dorothy Tucker, age 91 of Alexander City, is today at 11 o'clock from Wright's Funeral Home Chapel. Reverend Wayne Wright officiating. Interment in the Mount Zion Baptist Church Cemetery. The family receiving friends this morning 10 until service time. Miss Tucker died November 2nd at her residence. Professional service provided by Wright's Funeral Home. Online condolences at wrightsfuneralservice.com. That is a look at obituaries this morning, brought to you by Curtis & Son Funeral Home, Sylacauga, Childersburg.